Hello everyone, welcome back to SportsKhabri. I'm Rahul and today with me Pranav Bajaj, the co-founder at Medulance. The reason we're doing this is to sort of understand how medical companies play an important role in sports and via partnerships, how you're sort of supporting the sporting community. Pranav, first of all, how are you doing? Thank you so much for taking the time out and doing this for us as well.
All well, yeah. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well as well. And sports is something very close to my heart, and also I would say everyone at Medulance. So really happy to be here and happy to do this.
Pranav, just wanted to sort of start off by asking you what was the idea behind Medulance before we start talking about sports stuff in specific. What was the idea of Medulance? What does Medulance do? And if you could just let our listeners know exactly what the company does.
Absolutely, yeah. So I would say that we are driven today at Medulance by a philosophy, right? That we want to make emergency care accessible to all, and want to ensure that no emergency goes unserved. Our journey started, I would say, back in 2016 when I met Ravjot, my co-founder, who had already suffered a personal loss in his family due to the unavailability of an ambulance service. Um,
Mm,
that's when it hit me that this could happen to anyone, our friends, family members as well. And that's when me and Ravjot started talking. Even though the family emergency had occurred back in 2012, it was only, I would say, in 2014, 15, right, when platforms like Ola and Uber had come in, taken advantage of something as simple as geolocation, proliferation of smartphones. We thought, why can't we couple this with digitization in the healthcare space to shave minutes of the response time in an industry where time was much more relevant? And
mm,
that's when we started off with Medulance with our motto of assisting lives to ensure that we can, the closest possible emergency response vehicle reach you in the fastest possible time. And we started with the city of Delhi. NCR assisted about 2,000, 3,000 lives to start with. Within the first 6 months, we realized that the network we were trying to create works and started scaling this to other cities. Today, we are in more than 100 cities with about 10,000 ambulances across our platform, have saved and assisted about 25 lakh lives. And I'll say that we've barely scratched the surface till now.
okay, that's great. From this to sort of getting into the world of sport and helping athletes, sports organizations, and teams. I read that you're a huge tennis fan, and did that sort of play a part to prompt you to go this route?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say not only that, I am a big tennis fan. I'm Roger Federer's biggest fan. I would say till date, you won't find a bigger Roger Federer fan. Having said that, my association with sports started very early. I would say right from my childhood. I started playing cricket when I was about 7 years old. Went to play at the state level when I was in class 10th. 11 due to unforeseen circumstances, stopped playing, started focusing on my studies. That's one thing I'm not very happy about till date, I would say. And then I was, as I said, always a big tennis fan. And now I ensure that I play almost every day and try to get as better as I can. And then, of course, when we were at Medulance, right, our idea always was to ensure, as I said, that we become a comprehensive player in the emergency response space. And as you would see today, events, sporting events, right, where there is such a big audience, it's actually very important to providing emergency response services. I would say that's when we started looking at not sporting events to start with. We initially worked with a lot of organizations. We managed a lot of football matches at school, college levels. We also managed a lot of marathons in collaboration with HCL, a lot of cycling events, I would say, in 2018, 19 itself. And then our journey took us to large scale sporting events.
I just want to understand the Delhi Capitals partnership. How did that come about? Was it a sort of active approach from your side to get into the cricket market as well?
I would say absolutely not the cricket market, right? But into the sporting world, I would say the IPL is the biggest sporting world, right? That happens in India and one of the biggest sporting events that happens across the world. And what we wanted to do at Medulance is wanted to tell organizations, entities that there is a certified, I would say, focused player on emergency response, right? We wanted to bifurcate that this is not hospitals are more focused on providing clinical services, right? And there is, I would say, you can't replace them there. having said that, we as an organization focused on providing core emergency response in the forms of drivers, paramedics, ambulances, doctors, right? And we had already done this for, I would say, a lot of marathons, a lot of sporting events at the school, college level, I would say large scale concerts. And now it was time for to showcase the same ability, I would say, at one of India's biggest sporting events. And that's when the partnership with the Delhi Capitals team happened. And I would say that opportunity allowed us to, um, cater to an audience of about 50,000, 80,000 people within the stadium. And we were able to demonstrate, I would say, our commitment to excellence in medical care at the largest sporting event stages. And, you'll be surprised that we also saw severe emergencies happening during the matches, right? We were able to manage about 50 emergency cases on a daily basis, right? And there were, I would say, across about 8 to 10 matches, 50 serious cases that happened, right, across. I would say there were extreme emergencies like a heart attack, stroke. I remember that there was a 80-year-old colonel, right, who had suffered a heart attack, and our team of doctors and paramedics was quickly able to reach him, take him to the closest possible hospital within 5 minutes, and he survived, right? And I would say such stories drive us to do better, not only on a day-to-day level, but also at these sporting events as well.
Pranav, I think it's very interesting because I also wanted to understand from a sort of player perspective what sort of injuries or what sort of issues did you have to deal with from strictly like from the team's perspective.
Absolutely, yeah. I would say spectators as well as players, right, can experience a range of ailments that
Yeah.
require medical attention during events. These can range from heart-related illnesses, dehydration, falls, slips leading to spinal orthopedic injuries. There are allergic reactions, respiratory issues that happen, and these are, I would say, some of the key ailments that I can recall. Over and above, there would be so many more, right? Honestly, that I'm not able to recall currently. As I said, there could be insect bites at such large scale events. But these are some of the key ailments that I would say we've seen. And sometimes during day matches, it gets very hot, right? So
Yeah.
dehydration, heat strokes are something which are very, very common, I would say. And we are always prepared, I would say, at least for these ailments.
And how was the sort of response after your partnership with the Delhi Capitals? Were there other sort of organizations approaching or teams approaching you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that post the Delhi Capitals partnership, we were able to showcase our expertise, I would say, at the largest sporting event. So it was now very natural for us to do this across events in the country, right? So we managed emergency response for sporting events like the MotoGP, the Pro Punjab League, the Pro Kabaddi League that happened this year. We also did the Pro Tennis League that happened in New Delhi, where we manage, I would say, end-to-end emergency response services again, right from partnerships for the spectators. Sometimes it's for the athletes as well. And yeah, that's what we want to keep doing this. And it's not only sports, I would say. We want to be there wherever there is a smaller audience or a bigger audience. So we also do small scale events like the times women's rally, wherever there is a risk involved, right? I would say to people, we want to be there. And this year we are also managing the Zomaland event in partnership with Zomato, right? So these are also large scale events, concerts where there is always a risk across a 2 day event. And we are always there to ensure that help can be given when it matters the most.
Yeah, Pranav, you spoke about these small scale events as well. Was it an active, again, thought from your side to also help out these smaller scale events like the Pro Punjab League, which is fairly new and which a lot of people still don't quite understand in India? What was the thought behind going into an event like that?
I'll tell you, Rahul, see, it's also us about, also at, for us at Medulance, about spreading awareness about what we are doing, right? I mentioned that ours is not a service that you need every day. You might need an ambulance tomorrow. You might not need it in the next 6 years for that matter.
Yeah.
Unlike a Swiggy or a Zomato, right, it becomes very difficult for us to build a recall factor. And especially it's not a recurring service, right? Imagine you, even if you need an ambulance tomorrow, it's not that I spend money on customer acquisition costs, it comes back to me. But these events actually, where I'm able to provide emergency response to the spectators, players, and also spread awareness about why you should know about a company like us, right? So that, and save our number, honestly, because I would say an organized player does exist now in this space, and that's the message we want to give to people. So it's both able to showcase our services and also simultaneously spread awareness about the mission and the cause that we are on with the people as well via such events. So small, large scale events do not matter to us. It's more about spreading the word, spreading awareness about the mission we are on.
Yeah, again, another team that is not another team, but Kabaddi is seriously picked up in India, and the PKL is one of probably the biggest leagues in sporting leagues in India right now. Working with the UP Yodhas, what was that like? And again, I just want to ask you: are there different challenges that come with different sports, or do you see sort of a similar pattern across these sports?
No, absolutely. I'll tell you, as I said, we'll also have more data over the next few years, and I'll be able to answer that better. But yes,
Mhm.
it's very different with each sport, right? In cricket, you see a completely different set of ailments. In Kabaddi, right? We partnered with UP Yodhas. There are so many, I would say, fast pivot movements, thrust to your knees, elbows, right? And you will see that there are different kind of injuries. In the Pro Panja League, for that matter, right? We witnessed that how an orthopedician is always needed, right? I would say, and even a surgeon at times inside the venue, because extreme emergencies can happen, especially related to bones, orthopedic injuries, right, during such events. And simultaneously, it's completely different for the spectators, right, wherein you don't expect, I would say, injuries, but you can expect something completely different, right? As I said, heat strokes, heart attacks that we witnessed, slips, which can cause head injuries as well. So these are, I would say, we are still gathering data, and over the next few years,
Okay.
I'll be able to answer this in a more pointed manner. And of course, we'll be able to allocate specialists for each event basis the same. And
Yeah.
I was recently watching, I would say, the Australian Open match with Novak Djokovic versus Jack Sinner. And there
Yeah.
was an emergency that stopped play during that match as well, right? There was a spectator who had fallen down. It stalled play for a few minutes. I was watching that match live and extremely impressed with the way the emergency services responded, right? Because it's a huge stadium inside the Rod Laver Arena. They were able to quickly respond to the emergency, were able to evacuate the patient so that play could resume in the fastest possible time. And I would say, uh, watching this live, it only motivates me to not only be there at such events in the future, international events, but also ensure we're always committed to improving our services as well.
Any interesting activations that you want to discuss during these partnerships that you've had?
Absolutely, yeah. So we always do a partnership with a cause, right? It's not that we want to just partner with sporting events. It's a revenue generating activity. It's just, as I said, it's more about spreading awareness. Even if you see our partnership with the Delhi Capitals team, we not only did the entire event, we also launched a campaign called Roar for Safety, right? Wherein we tried to use the Delhi Capitals players. We created a video, a music video, I would say, around to spread awareness about emergency response with these partners. And something, we are very proud of. Even at Zomaland recently, right? We are always on a mission, I would say, at these events. Even if you see the kind of medical rooms we establish, you see the kind of taglines that we have. It's also about spreading a lot of awareness. We also try and give information leaflets to the spectators and audiences about CPR, first aid training. This is something we did at the ICC event during the Cricket World Cup, where we were exclusive partners with the ICC for managing the matches at Dharamshala with the HPCA. And that's something we did when we were also trying to make the spectators more aware that we are here, right, to assist you. But outside this stadium also, you should remember a company like ours, and these are few tips that we have for any first aid emergencies that you face at home, where you could respond to them better.
And probably your future plans on working with more sports organizations. Any tennis events or sports organizations that you're looking at in particular?
Yeah, honestly, I have some thing to mention. A lot of sporting events ask for sponsorships, ask for barters, right? And I just feel that I sometimes a little hesitant to do such partnerships, because we are providing a very value added service, which is very important for these events. And I would say, just from a barter point of view, a value add that people need, they can tell me that we'll give you marketing collaterals in return, but sometimes that's not what we are seeking. I want to give the best possible service, and partner with, I would say, as many large scale events that happen across the country. And that's the mission we are on. We want to partner with, I would say, big organizations like the BCCI as well. We want to keep doing events like the Pro Kabaddi League, which happens cyclically every year, even the Tennis Premier League, the Pro Panja League, I would say, get into the ISL as well,
Mhm.
and then become a prominent player in this space. But I just want to tell large scale sporting organizations that please don't look at such a service as a value add or a barter, right? It's
Mhm.
something where it is as important as saving lives, and should be looked at differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably everybody who sort of comes on this show, we leave them by asking them their favorite sporting memory. And because you are such a big sports fan, I'm sure you have some incredible anecdotes that you can share with us. So, your favorite sporting memory growing up, or even today, if you could please.
I'd say there are a couple. Yeah, one was definitely, it was Roger Federer's 20th Grand Slam, I believe, against Rafael Nadal, where he came back in the fifth set from about 3-1 down. I remember in the fifth, after he was coming back from an injury, right? Both of them actually had suffered extreme injuries, had not played for, I would say, a few months. Directly came to the Australian Open, reached the finals, and yeah, that was just one of those memories that I would always want to remember. And the other is wherein I would say Roger Federer had two match points in the Wimbledon final against Djokovic, two championship points, I would say, and lost that final. And that's one bit I remember but would not like to remember. But yeah, these two, I would say, still stand out.
Yeah. Again, thanks so much, Pranav, for joining us. I hope
And of
again a
course,
lot
as
of you.
always, the other ones are India winning the World Cup, right? As a
Okay.
nation, right? That goes unsaid. Of course, these are memories that always stay by you. The more recent one is where we did not win, right? So it's also more about what you remember. But yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think as cricket fans over the last 10 or so years in ICC tournaments, it hasn't been the greatest time for us. But yeah, hopefully better times to come. Thanks, Manav, for joining us for this short chat. I hope, again, our listeners have learned, and I hope sporting organizations are also listening to what you've said, and how they need to approach these partnerships with medical companies. And yeah, hopefully we can make the whole sports ecosystem a better place. Again, thank you so much for your time, Pranav.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rahul. Pleasure speaking to you. All the best, and hope we can spread the word again.